We welcome in our resident goaltender, Martin Biron, to play a little fantasy or reality. Marty, let's start with the Maple Leafs goaltending group. They bring in plenty of inexperience and injury history. Both Joseph Woll and Anthony Stolarz have never started more than 24 games in a season. But two-time Stanley Cup champion Matt Murray, he's still around. So here's our statement. Toronto will have to lean on Murray this season. Fantasy or reality?
That's fantasy, and I understand that the National Hockey League has to have about 3 or 4 goalies play per team to have some success. There's injuries, but if the Leafs have to rely on Matt Murray to have success this year, that is a clear fantasy. The last 5 seasons of Matt Murray, he has 3 years below a 900 save percentage, and the other 2 were barely over a 900 save percentage, and he's coming off of hip surgery at 30. So I think there's more of a reality that Dennis Helderby as a way to get into the Leafs lineup and play a big part of it than Matt Murray. So I'm saying fantasy with Matt Murray.
Got it. Okay, let's go to the West Coast. Thatcher Demko continues to try to work his way back from a rare lower body muscle injury suffered in the playoffs. His return up in the air. Here's a statement. Canucks can survive without Demko for an extended period of time. Fantasy or reality?
Fantasy. The Canucks cannot survive without our Thatcher Demko. And I know Artur Shilovs has done really well in the playoffs last year in the short sample in the regular season. But when you look at the team, the Vancouver Canucks, they scored almost 1 goal per game more when Demko was in net. It's not about the defensive side. It's the way that they play, their identity. They trust Demko. They know he'll make the big saves. So they score more when Demko is in net. I don't think that was the case with DeSmith and Shilovs. And I know that this season, if Demko's not there, it's going to take away from Rick Tocchet's identity as a coach and the Canucks' identity as a team. So extended period of time is going to be tough. So that's fantasy for the Vancouver Canucks if Demko's not there and misses significant time.
Let's see if we can find something realistic for you. In Ottawa, they're looking to snap that playoff drought that stands at 7 straight seasons. Now Linus Ullmark slides in between the pipes. For years, he was a tandem goalie in Boston, but the Sens likely needing more from him. So let's ask you this. 55 solid starts from Ullmark will make Ottawa a playoff caliber club. Fantasy or reality?
Straight reality right there. And I know that 55 is a good number because Linus Ullmark played 55 games in Rochester, but that's almost 8 years ago. That's the most he's ever played in a regular season. So he's got to raise his level and be able to get there. He's played 49 with the Bruins one time, so I say 55 is good. But not only that, some people are saying, well, he played behind a really good team in Boston, and Ottawa's not the same defensive team. 2 seasons, his last 2 seasons, Ullmark with Buffalo, who was not a good defensive team back then, had a .915 and a .917 save percentage. Not only do I think Ullmark is going to play well behind a least defensive team that Ottawa is compared to Boston, but also I think he will be able to play 55 or more games. And if that's the case, the Ottawa Senators will be a playoff caliber team. That's reality right there.
Good news for the Sens fans. And that does it for another edition of Fantasy or Reality Goaltender Edition.